131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Chapter 26 of the Town of Danvers General Bylaw, the Wetlands Protection Bylaw. We'll go through the agenda one item at a time. After the applicant has been called and presents his or her request, and the board has had time to ask questions to discuss the project, we will accept questions from the audience. Because this is a public meeting, it is required by law that you give your name and address first. Although we may disagree on the issues raised, all persons present are expected to be civil to all the meeting attendees. This includes the members of the commission, staff, abutters, concerned citizens, property owners, and project applicants. That being said, we'll go to our first item. Actually, we'll take a roll call first. I will start to my left.
Michael Spillane, present.
Peter Wilson.
Georgia Pendergast.
Chelsea King.
Aaron Henry stepped out.
And Aaron has left. Okay. Item A on the agenda, 69 Liberty Street, wetlands violation.
So that's Mr. Early. If you want to come up by the microphone.
Yeah. So a recommendation on this.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thanks.
A little bit tired, but can I lift this up a little bit?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Early.
If you want to say your full name and where you live. Just
Early
for the-
Souza. Actually, I'm not the owner of the property. He is the owner of the property. We partners.
Okay.
We run a company, roof company. He just bought the house months ago. And when he went, can I keep going? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. When he looked at the house to buy the property, the owner of the house, George, he says something about a wetland. It's a huge place. It's a huge land, and looks like is
2.65 acres.
about that.
Yeah.
This is on the drawing we have here. This is your entire
Exactly.
property?
Yeah. So we came here back in March. Before we bought the house, we came here, and someone gave us this paper here. This paper came from here. And Georgia meant something, this is an old survey, not the new survey. But we went, according to this piece of paper here, we went forward and we bought the house. Now, I don't wanna build anything on the area that Georgia came over, she looked at it, she even took pictures. I don't wanna build anything there. I don't wanna build a shed. I don't wanna build anything. All I wanna do there is straight up a little bit, because right now, when rains, you step in, your foot's not gonna go through. The land is not soft as the wetlands area. When you go into the blue area here, more towards to 95 route, right there, you see everything's soft. Everything's wet back there. But over here, close to the fence, I don't know if you guys familiar with the place, but close to the fence, I can point out the fence to you if you wanna. Yeah, let me open this. Yeah. This is the house.
House is right on the street.
Yeah, this is the house, the street's right here. This is the garage.
Yeah.
From the garage here, it's 80-something feet. From the garage back to the fence. And
The fence, which is in this, I can just see the end of the fence in
Yeah.
this picture?
so this fence here, they told us that from this fence up to here, we could go another 100 feet. According to this piece of paper that we got here back in March.
Who told you that?
Whoever gave us this page. That page came from downstairs. Someone wrote that down. And these are the papers that Sir George, the previous owner, has it. He gave it to us. And if I did something wrong, I would do it immediately. Because we came here, we asked before about this. And after I buy the place, all I did is was some trees that was all dried out, falling apart, and I have a fence. And right on the other side of the fence is a pool. And we wanna treat the pool for next year. And we get kids, we got 2 kids in the house, live in the house, and while that wind, several winds that we got, I was just afraid for the tree to fall down on top of the fence, which some of the bushes already over to the other side of the fence we cleaned. So I did cut one tree. It was an old tree. And the tree now, I just pushed the trees, towards the
Familiar with
back.
that? Are you
And she
familiar with
saw
that, John?
everything.
Have you seen it?
And again, if I did anything that I wasn't supposed to do, was without knowing if I'm doing something wrong.
Okay,
If you look at
you're
this-
aware that we have,
This is the one that we, huh? This is the, Mr. George gave it to us. Let me find out where we are now. Hold on a second. Here. Hold on. We here?
They just were giving them setback information?
Again. We're right here.
Yeah.
This is the whole land here.
Mm-hmm. No,
Right
it's a
here.
big
So
lot.
right here. This is the whole area that he owns. And the house is right here in the corner, as you can see, the smaller version. This one. Small version, the house is right here in the corner, which
Yeah.
is this corner here. And the wetland starts here. So, well, my understanding now.
When you say the wetland, is that delineated on
Yeah.
there?
If
That
it's,
is?
old, that's very,
yeah,
Very old.
who,
if you don't mind.
who
Just say something.
delineated the wetlands? Are they flagged? Go ahead, Georgia.
So I just want to clarify for the audience as well. So this was the plan that you went off of, and I think that's where the confusion is. So this is from the state website. So it does show rough wetland lines, but this isn't going to show you exactly what's on your property. And I understand that you went off of this, which is understandable.
yeah, I came here before I did something.
But the newest survey we have, which the staff received, this is what we consider the most validated wetland line. And this means someone actually went on the property on site and dug those soils and flagged exactly where that line is.
Without the one of the house
So
knowing?
this happened in April 10th, 2018. So it could have been George.
Yeah.
He had the survey done.
Mhm.
So this is the credited map that we would go off of.
Is that very close to the fence, correct?
Very, very, so this shows,
Only that pink area right there?
the pink area is highlighting where the piles of the stone dust and the soil are. So this line down here, that shows the end of the wetland, not the wetland buffer. So really, essentially, the pool and the fence and that area where you were digging around, that's within wetland jurisdiction.
So the pool is in the wetland too?
I don't have my scale on here, but it would be within the buffer zone. So this map, it does show some of the wetland, but that wetland has now changed. It's a lot closer to the house.
So in other words, the whole area is useless then?
Well, it's not useless, but it's wet. So what we're saying is, if you wanted to work in this buffer zone, so not in the wetland, but if you wanted to work behind the shed or where you're working now, you would have to come back in front of here, in front of the commission, fill out an application and get approval.
Oh, I see.
So the purpose of tonight is to have you come in and, one, explain that, so now you know what that area is. And now the commission is gonna discuss ways that we can clean that area up. And if you wanted to do the project, then coming back in.
I do just wanna clean up. Now, the whole thing is, she went there, she knows.
Yeah.
The whole thing is a mess. There's bushes everywhere, there's trees falling apart everywhere. Even the neighbors, if some trees fall, they're gonna fall in the neighbor's yard, the fence there. So what I did is I cut some of the bushes, which is not even, one tree is some bushes all around. And all I have in hand is 1 yard of soil that I was gonna put it down, and some gravel,
Some crushed stone?
crushed stone. And all I'm gonna do is spread that, have a solid, so I can put, cause like I say, I want a company that runs roof. I was just gonna put some pallets with some leftover product from another job, which is not gonna stay there more than a couple of weeks, cause company keep moving around.
Can I ask staff a question, Peter?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Georgia, so the new wetlands boundary from 2018, did
Yes.
they come in with a project with an NOI or something
No,
that would have triggered that?
No, the homeowner may have just had a survey of the property. It sounds like it may have been something they
Preparing to sell.
prepared
Right.
to sell the
Oh,
house.
pursuant to the sale?
Yeah, because there was no filing.
And there's no order of conditions on that property currently of any kind?
Nope.
Oh, all right.
This area that's circled,
Yes.
is that within the wetland or within
So that,
what range of the buffers?
so that circle doesn't have a, that's just there's no measurement to the circle, but I am circling where these piles are in relation. So this corner right here is this corner right here of the fence.
Right.
So you can see the pile is essentially this little number right here, that's indicating a wetland flag where the end of the wetland is. So that would be right here,
So,
Wait, where, I'm sorry, I missed it.
like about right here. He's not far at all.
who placed the flags? The,
Or, I don't know if there wasn't flags when I went out there, but that's where he
Oh, I
staked the
see.
wetland being upland and
What about
wetland.
that sign that says, conservation? There was a sign in the back. Did you see that
Yeah.
sign?
So there's a sign on the property that
Which
looks,
is another, at least 40 feet from that fence right there,
it's probably,
towards to the Route 95.
it's a sign I've never seen before. It says, something, it's really, really old. It's an old metal street sign in the back of these people's yard. What does it say?
So you took pictures of that.
Danvers
See if you can find it.
Conservation, it has to be at least 20 or 30 years old. But I think you had,
One more question I wanna ask. If you own that big size land and we can't do anything about it, but we're still paying taxes for it,
correct.
that's something that it doesn't,
Why?
I can't even, if I wanna build something there, let's say in 10, 15 years from now, if I wanna sell that and sell to a company that they can make a big condominium there, how's that gonna work? It's not gonna
They
work
won't,
out?
no.
Well, they would have to
So-
apply and
That's
If
show.
I was buying a land with that size, then I can't use it. That should be said and done, back then, so whoever's trying to buy the house, it should know that and just cut the land in half and just buy half of the land.
but that was between you and whoever you
That's
bought the
your
land
buyer and
from.
seller.
But you and the seller.
Our role is
Yeah, we
strictly
don't
to
get
protect
involved
the
with it.
wetlands. So, I mean, there were laws that, you can't build within 25 feet.
And that way, let them just grow and keep growing.
Yeah, and it could change,
could
In
shrink.
10
I mean,
years, it could be
yeah.
smaller, it could be,
I mean, the environment's gonna do what it's gonna do.
And not that I wanna build anything there, I don't wanna build anything there.
So currently you
can-
have a
can you-
house on the property, though. There's a
Yeah, but the
house,
house is up front.
There is a house there.
yeah,
The house is
that's
very
right
close
on
to
the street.
the
Yeah, I
house
see
is
it.
out of
House is about 15.
That's the only structure on the
That's the
property?
only structure, plus the garage.
The garage
And
and the
the
shed.
garage.
And where'd you say there was a pool?
The pool is already there, I would say 30 years
yeah,
or
it's
more.
about,
So you-
The pool,
You can't pull this staging area in a little bit?
Like right there?
Right?
what was that?
You can't pull that closer to the street where you want to store your materials? Just to get it out of the wetlands. We can't have you, paving, any kind of impervious surface, we can't have that in the wetlands. We don't want anything in the wetlands. So I'm asking if you can bring that forward closer to the garage.
To be honest with you, I need more space because I have letters. And I have, stage, pump jacks,
Yeah.
I have all that I need to.
You wanna run a business, you're trying to run your business out of it.
No, I'm not running a business, I'm trying to run a business there, I'm just like trying to keep my leftover product there.
Yeah.
you wanna read it out?
No
And that's
disturb zone, it's a no disturb zone.
Just no disturb zone.
And where is that sign on this map?
It's about,
Very far away from his
Yeah.
house.
Well, that's where
So
it
I
was
almost
back
wonder-
then.
I was gonna say, that's
I think that was a
whenever it was delineated 30 years ago, and that's what they did.
But the sign looks to be in pretty good shape, so I don't know if it's
Yeah.
30 years
But
old.
it's very bizarre, it's behind someone's, you would never see it unless.
And you're sure there was
Have you
never
put
anything
number
done
on
with
there?
this
Have a piece of
property?
property might have the same
Yeah.
things, the same wetland, right?
Yeah, it could have been this guy's.
Inside.
back
Adjoining.
there's a sign
la-
above right
no.
here, if you look towards above, right, right here,
But the sign isn't.
so far away here, at least See, across from the neighbor's fence, it's 47 feet.
Uh-huh.
So I would say, let's call 40 feet towards this fence. And all I did here, if it's wrong, I take the consequences. I'm not saying that I'm free to walk out. 8 feet? It's about 8 feet from the fence, right?
The back lot?
The stuff that I dropped there?
Oh,
It's about 8 feet, right?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Are we saying he's encroaching in the 25 or 35, or are
I think
we
he's
just,
encroaching in the wetland
He's in the
itself.
wetland.
he's in the actual
I
So the
would-
wetland?
wetland's right here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is the area of disturbance, so
I
he's in the
think for
wetland.
tonight, I think what the commission, I mean, I think it's, and George and I reread the act today, I mean, I think it's peel it back to the 35 or 25, I apologize, I'm blanking on, should be the
25 noticed, so 35.
No build,
You
no
gotta at least-
disturb. Yeah.
You
Go
at
with
least gotta come back to the 25. That to me has gotta happen, and then if question about whether or not you wanna go forward with some project, I think you're gonna have to come back and file for that. Cause
Yeah.
it sounds like almost any activity you do
Yeah.
in the back.
Does he know where the 25 is?
All we have is this plot plan, that I'm assuming the prior owner had done by Vernon LeBlanc. I'm not sure who delineated it, but I think we can wake that up pretty easily, it's not that old. Peel that back to the 25-foot line, and then the homeowner can decide how he wants to proceed from there, but it's either peel it back and stay out of that, and maybe we're good for now, but if you wanna make these improvements, I think you're gonna have to come back with the proper filing. I think George and I and the rest of the staff upstairs are happy to work with you on how to get that done, but I think,
Well, I just wanna,
for the purposes of
Best
tonight,
as
I think,
possible.
we've gotta peel it back.
Well, I think
You're in the
it's gonna
resource
be
area.
some time consuming. You know, just to work with, we want you out of the wetlands to begin with, and then you have to have a project, you have to come to us for permission to work within the 25 limit. The 35 limit, did I say 25?
So essentially what would need to happen tonight is the commission kind of discussing how he would clean up and what needs to be taken out. And exactly where that line can be, and that would be established tonight. And then if you wanted to create that area for you to hold your ladders and all that material, you would have to file a permit for that, an application.
I think that's the thing, you say, well, it's wetland, it's not usable. It's not that some of it may not be usable, but you can do things within proximity to the wetlands. You just have to come to us and tell us how that's gonna work so that we can evaluate those plans to make sure that they're not gonna be detrimental to the resource
In
area.
this picture, what is in the wetland?
It's a process, there's no doubt about that.
So, I think if I don't know if I'm at a point that suggests something here, but can we get another survey and see?
Well, I think that's the way you gotta go, 'cause I don't think we really know where the
Because we got one
wetland is.
A while ago, it matched
But the April 20, I don't know,
one page, this page here, that we got back in March.
this,
I got another one in 15, and the wetland got bigger.
so the wetland does change.
Yeah, so now it would be good if we can get another one, and see if we start, you have a point to start.
I think that's a great idea.
No, it can't just be, it has to be someone that's wetland knowledgeable.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
he would
Right,
hire a
it's certified,
surveyor.
right?
Not just a
But I think he's saying
survey.
if he wants to get
Yeah.
another survey and
Yeah.
wetland delineation out there,
Yeah.
that'd be excellent, because then we'd get to know where this pile is. We were just trying to think of, in the situation you're in,
That's what I'm thinking.
first and foremost is let's get
Whatever's in
the
the
stuff
wetland.
out of the
Yeah.
wetland resource area, and then he can decide if,
Yeah, because
going forward,
yeah,
how
we
you
need
do that, but if he wants to
Get a
just,
survey to size the land, because we already know the size of the land.
Yes,
Just need to
know where the wetland is.
test the land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you have what we consider you're in the wetlands, so we want to get out of.
Okay.
So how deep is this crushed stone?
But
You
So
can get
that's
it
not a
up
big
easy.
project
it's
to
only-
get that pulled out.
it's only 3 yards there.
Just pull it back,
Can you scrape that back
That's what I can do.
yeah.
and take that pile out, or if you are,
Can I take it out of the storage right behind the garage, leave it there for now.
Maybe with a,
That's
How far
not
away
a
is
We
wetland.
would
the
have to go out
garage?
there and just make sure that we're,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the
Yeah.
garage is pretty, behind the garage, that's pretty far away.
It's within the jurisdiction, but it's outside the 35.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Maybe
that's,
cover
I
it with
think
a
that's all
tarp.
right, we could do that.
Okay.
all right.
But that has to be done, as quickly as possible.
Do we
In-
wanna set a date and I can go out there and check?
Yeah, how much time do you need?
I need at least 2 weeks.
So,
Okay.
we
we don't
put it
meet
out for
another
a month?
So we
We'll put it out for a
could
month?
continue to, whatever that mid-December meeting is.
December 12th?
That's the second Thursday.
That's a Thursday, I can't do that. Is that Thursday?
It's a Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, we only meet on Thursday.
Well,
I
yeah.
gotta, in this week to go, I gotta,
Oh, no, well, that's
as
important.
a marriage, 15 years marriage.
No, you gotta do
I'm
that,
invited to go to that.
yeah.
I'm happy to go out there in the 30 days and meet with him on site.
And then you can report to
And
us
I
on
can
the
report
12th.
back, and then I'll stay in touch with Early to make sure, once you have your new survey, then we can talk about you coming back in front of the commission and
Yeah.
filing.
So we'll just put it over for like for a status for you to come
Yeah, I
back
can do
and
an update on the 12th.
update, for an update.
So
And
early,
they
I'll-
won't be here then.
Yeah.
So, does that mean we're continuing to our next meeting and Georgia will report on the progress?
Or if we could just clarify,
What's the date that we're gonna come in?
December 12th?
December 12th, I'm going, by December 12th.
You won't have to
Oh,
come.
okay, I don't
The
have-
piles
You
need
said
to
you
be-
can't be here.
Yeah,
I can be here, I can meet you in the afternoon anytime.
exactly. So even if it's before December 12th, if you get everything pulled back and stockpiled in front of the garage, maybe with a tarp over it, and then you call me, I can come out and I'll check. So it could be tomorrow, it could be 2 weeks, but as long as it's before December 12th. And if I go out there and I see what I see, I'll take pictures, and then that night I'll report it to the commission.
And then we'll let that issue pass.
Yep.
And then for you to continue with this project, you'd have to come in with a notice of intent, just, spelling out what you're gonna do. And we'll discuss it and we'll,
and
Hopefully give you an order of
staff can, Georgia and myself will make sure that you know what's going on.
and he's free to have it resurveyed if he'd
Yeah.
like, right?
Yep.
All I want is just a place to put my
All
stuff.
Yep.
Not digging anything.
Yep.
Okay, good.
I'll
Everybody
make a
happy?
motion.
Do you think it's gonna be hard to get permission just to put my stuff back there?
I think we gotta see what the wetland.
Let's see where the wetlands are and then how water drains over there and so on.
We'll
So
go from there. All right. Can I please have my signature?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this an actual hearing? Do we have to have a motion to continue it, or?
I'll make a
It
motion.
doesn't have to be,
I was gonna ask
Yeah,
you,
go
I
ahead.
don't think, it's not being continued to anything.
kinda just felt like advice.
Whatever you
Yeah,
want to do.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we continue any action on the wetlands violation to December 12th in order to give the homeowner an opportunity to address the issue.
Then the following Thursday is the 19th?
Yes.
Yes. But we only meet the second and fourth Thursday of every month, so. So right now, it's
It's
There's
only
not a
gonna
lot of
be
meetings
once.
because
We're only
the
gonna meet
next-
once in December, I think,
Right.
because the
Yeah.
other one's December
and
26th.
we're not
and-
we're not
You
meeting
get Thanksgiving and
Thanksgiving either.
Yeah.
Christmas.
So it's this meeting and one in December, is that it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that's it, so,
We'll talk
Oh.
about it.
all right,
Yeah,
so
we'll
I
be in
made a
touch.
motion,
Okay, I'll second.
all right.
All in favor?
Alright,
Aye. Okay,
Thank you, Mary.
good.
You wanna
Good luck.
Ali?
yes,
Thank
You're
you,
free to go.
thanks for coming.
have a good night.
Okay, next up is a request for certificate of compliance for lot number 2, 4 Holly Lane, DEP file number 14-1293. Who's here to represent the applicant?
Sure, good evening, members of the commission. My name is Scott Cameron with Moore and Cameron Group. I'm here on behalf of DUC Residential. Thank you for having us. We have this and another lot request for COC. The first one here is for lot 2. This is 4 Holly Lane. We did note in our cover letter the difference that we found on this plan in the constructed condition from the approved plan was it looks like they widened the driveway a little bit towards the end. That's reflected on the as-built. We felt that was in keeping with and well within the parameters of how we designed the stormwater system. In fact, when they put the drywalls in, they found so it was expensive drywall that was bigger than what was designed, so they actually put a little more storage under the driveway than we had initially anticipated. So we felt this was coincident, consistent with the scope of a single-family house lot. And most of the widening occurred outside of the buffer zone, in fact. So we showed that on the plan. Happy to answer any questions.
Do you have any questions, Mike?
Well, just, it seems that, was there another property you talked about, the potential, you sort of over-design with the idea that you'll be able to be in compliance even if things go a little,
From a stormwater perspective, I can't say compliance with regards to footprint, but we're measuring stormwater runoff, and the big factor that plays a role in increasing runoff is impervious surface. So knowing when we buy homes and we move into them, we like to make improvements to them. On the Tinkerer, I put little patios and fire pits, and
yeah.
this is typical with single-family home living. So when we have new lots and we get a chance to design them from scratch, we over-design them. So we include the area we anticipate for a driveway, we include the area we anticipate for a home, and on top of that, the entire yard area, we just assume 25% of it is paved and impervious, accounting for sheds
Yeah.
and all the little things that add on over time. So in this case, again, it looks like what they did, if I can show you. I'm just gonna hand you the approved plan. They filled in against the fence with the driveway.
Did they do anything to put them further into no build or no disturb?
No, we were well outside. We didn't have any relief requested for the single-family homes.
What is this?
So this is shaded in about what they filled in with the pavement. It looks like they just filled in against the fence.
Was it supposed to be grass before?
It would have been grass.
Okay.
Yeah. Small area.
And it was filled in to do what? To,
It would probably made it easier for them, they thought, for maintenance, just maybe a little extra room to park a car or something.
These photos
Oh,
look
actually,
like gravel.
I remember,
Is it no longer gravel? Was that temporary?
It was paved, yeah, it was probably.
Okay.
yeah. If I
But it's
recall,
like the rough pavement, I think.
yeah. Okay.
Paved.
And I think when the fence was installed, Scott, I remember talking to this homeowner, I think when the fence was installed, it originally called for it to be installed in a weird angle, and they had made it straight flush, and that left a small portion of
so that's
grass.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See it, Peter?
Yes. Anyone, any other questions? Chelsea?
No.
I'm okay with it, so I'll entertain a motion that we issue a certificate of compliance.
I'll make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 4 Holly Lane, DEP file number 14-1293.
Motion's been made, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That's that one.
Okay, next up is lot number 3, 6 Holly Lane, DEP file number 14-1292. And who is here to represent the applicant?
Here, good evening again, Scott Cameron with Mullen Cameron Group, here on behalf of UC Residential. This application on the COC, we identified, again, some minor deviations from the approved plan, again, things we feel are typical for single-family house construction. You'll note on the plans, they added 3 short retaining walls, was the original plan, if you're looking at the as-built. This is on the east side of the south side of the house, rather, here. And instead of just doing a 3-to-1 slope down, they just stepped it. wall, so it's a little flatter, and then they stepped it and flatter their,
Do we have a picture of that? No?
should be in the packet.
No? Is it? Did I miss it?
Oh, there it is.
They just used
Oh,
They're
I was-
just,
I was looking for concrete.
Yeah, just the native rock
Oh, yeah.
that was there.
okay.
Okay. They added small air conditioning condensers in the back of the house, the deck. They added the stairs in the deck. They added a small buried propane tank. This one, they didn't have natural gas, so the propane fuel was the suction for heat on this house.
So it seems like stairs on the deck, that would have been in the original plan, because you got a deck, you need stairs to
Yeah, the
get.
deck was shown, but again, at the time, we weren't quite sure which way they were gonna come off the deck.
Oh,
And
this-
We were just dealing with, really a conceptual architectural plan.
Yeah.
And then once we put permits, they hire the architect to fully engineer them, those go to the building department. And the last bit, they did extend the driveway a little bit. It's right on the outside edge of the buffer. And I'll highlight that for you too. So it looks like they just added a little backing area, so they can back out of the garage and just mark up the asphalt. So added a little bit of extra pavement. Again, same as the prior lot. The dry well footprint design was a 7x14. They put in two 8x8s, so the footprint is 8x16. So it's a little bigger. I don't feel this would have a measurable difference in stormwater.
Do they consult with you when they do this stuff, or is
We
it?
did get, we got the shop drawings on those from the company that put them in. We said, they're bigger, great,
Yeah.
a little less expensive.
Okay, and we have the standard verbiage about the fertilizer use?
Yeah, that's an ongoing condition.
Okay, yes. So the homeowners are aware of that?
They're in the order, the conditions that are in the order, and then those survive on the COC. And that COC references back to the order, so both those are recorded on the title.
And what's the language? What's it say?
I don't have
It's for fertilizers and also salt.
Shouldn't be used within the 100.
And that gets recorded, but do they actually read that? I mean,
I would hope the homeowner has a copy, but when they get their COC, it will be listed on that as well.
This
Yeah.
actually came up once before. That's standard in all orders and conditions,
Yeah,
right?
it's boilerplate.
is that just something we should stress at the hearings? Because I don't think it gets read, probably. I don't think a homeowner sits down and reads how many conditions are in there.
That's true, and I think it definitely
50,
depends on the
60.
site. Yeah, yeah,
How many total?
can get up to 100.
Up to 100, yeah. So I don't think they're reading these, so I think we should be stressing the important ones. So it's a record, make a record of it, so if they come back and say, we wouldn't know.
I know the closing attorneys read them. 'cause I
Yeah.
read them all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Where's the COC?
All right, well, no, I mean, and I would expect you would have needed stairs coming off the deck. I mean,
Right.
just,
I would like I don't know how we can make it happen, but like the homeowner to hear that at the closing. Not just two sentences on a
No.
piece of paper when he's got a stack of paper this thick at closing.
they're
Exactly.
signing so many things.
I know, but we're here to protect the wetlands, and
Yeah, I
the
know.
wetlands are damaged
Well,
by
that's
the
why I think we
fertilizer
should
off of
stress,
these-
we should stress at the, whatever, we should talk about, what are the key core things that need to be stressed when we're trying to protect the wetland? And that's certainly one, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, that being said, I'll get
Yeah.
off my soapbox,
Yeah,
and, any other questions?
I'm all set.
Chelsea,
Not really, no.
you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion then to,
Yeah, I make a motion that we issue a certificate of compliance for Lot 36 Holly Lane, DEP file number 14-1292.
motion been made, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay. Next up, notice of intent, public hearing for 11 Tivitz Avenue, DEP file number 14-1335. And who's here to represent the applicant?
This is Michael and Karen Hubbard, the owners of the property.
Hello?
I've known Michael for a while, and I know he reads all of his conditions.
How you doing?
property is 11 Tivitz, and so, Doty Ave is sort of running roughly right across the table here. Here's Tivitz Avenue. The property that we're talking about is number 11 here. It's kind of a small piece of land, about 5,600 or 5,700 square feet. With just 50 feet of frontage on Tivitz. In the R2 district, so we have a significantly undersized lot as compared to the district. We're 20,000 square feet wide, and we're 5,600. Land is subdivided in 1908. So here's some pictures of the property. This is the house that Michael and Karen have recently purchased. It's really a tear down, and that's really what we're proposing to do here. It's kind of good shape. Here's the front view. Here's the backyard. There's a dead tree hanging over the house here. This is a view standing on the back deck looking out to the river. And here's a picture of their seawall. I'll talk a little more about the seawall. So here's our plan, and I know this is kind of hard to see, but our site plan's over here and a couple of details that we'll talk about. So I just sort of took that little site plan there and I blew it up to make it easier for us.
That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So in sort of the beige or the peach color here is the footprint of the existing house with a deck on the back, a wheelchair ramp running up the side, and then you can see there's a driveway in peach existing, and you're gonna walkway coming from the street up to the wheelchair ramp here. And there's another strip of paving along here that you can, if you line your car up right, you can put your wheels on the sidewalk and a little piece of driveway there, so you can get some more cars over here as well. But what we're proposing to do is we're proposing to build a house that's just a little bit bigger in footprint. It'll be a two-story house instead of a one-story house, so it'll be, have more gross square footage, but the size impact on the property isn't that great. I think we're about 150 or 200 square feet larger footprint. The house is going to have a built-in garage, so it would have a one-car garage here, right off the street level, and a little bit of driveway space in front of it as well. But then we'll have lawn sort of over here. We've got another little driveway space over here to park an additional car when we have visitors or guests. We'll obviously have parking on the street. We're going to push the house a little further away from the lot line, so it looks like we're about half a foot off the lot line. We're going to be at 5 feet to the foundation here, and about 4 feet to the eave. And over on this side, we're going to be, looks like about 15 feet off the property line approximately on this side. We're also going to push it a little bit further back from the street so to provide more room to park a car in front of the garage without having the car stick out into Tivitz Avenue. So we're going to be pushing it back a little bit further from the street, just a few feet.
Are you going back into the 30, further back into the 25, 35?
I'll show you what's going on back here. So the footprint of the house, the proposed house, is the dark line here. And so we're just basically coming up to the 35. And the house has been designed by David Jaquith Architects. He's basically tried to make this house as compact as he can while still meeting the needs of Michael and Karen and the family. We've got a wooden deck that comes into the back area between the 25 and the 35. So we do have some construction activity. We've got a deck between the 25 and the 35. We've got some paver terrace and paver walkways coming down to the seawall here. We've got some lawn landscaping in the 25-foot no disturb zone. But of course, this is already all disturbed already. So we're really not taking down trees, for example, or taking down a forest to try to build a residential development. We're really redeveloping what is already there. And when we speak about redevelopment, this is in the riverfront to Danvers River, so I just want to point out that the 100-foot buffer zone from the mean high water line here, which is also the coastal bank line, is back here. So basically, all of the lot is within 100
Entirely.
feet, and certainly all within 200 feet. So, but we have a pre-1996 lot. We've got a lot that's previously been developed. We're really just trying to improve the existing building as compared to what's there today, improve the landscaping and the environment by what we're proposed. We also have proposed a 6-foot by 12-foot shed over here so they can put some of their yard care equipment and things like that along the property line. Again, we've got a relatively small garage, just for one car, so having the extra shed space is going to be important. The shed will be placed on blocks, so it won't really generate a whole lot of runoff anyways. So So the deck on the backside of the house is 12 feet by 18 feet, a pretty standard deck size. We've got a little terrace walking out to the seawall here. We're proposing a minor grade change along the edge of the seawall. We're about 6.8 here now, we're going to 7.5, so it's about 9 inches higher along here. And if you recall the photograph, you can see that there's a little bit of, depression here along where there's been some settlement along that wall. But what we're proposing to do in the wall is to come back to you at a later point in time with another notice of intent filing to make some more permanent repairs to the wall, probably put a small float and a small pier off of the back of the property here. But the Hubbards, as you might imagine, are anxious to get the house torn down and get the reconstruction project ongoing for the house here, so that's why we sort of separated the projects. I also want to point out that we're in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals. We had originally planned to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals, I think, in their October meeting. And we didn't realize it, but it turns out the house qualifies for Historic District Commission review. So despite what it looks like,
Preservation.
the Preservation Commission had to look at it. They determined a week or two ago that it was not preferably preserved. No surprise there, but nonetheless, it kicked us into the next zoning board hearing. So we're going to be at the zoning board next Monday night. So we hope to have some feedback from the Zoning Board of Appeals by the time we got here. It didn't work out because of the historic issue, but we'll be at the Zoning Board of Appeals next month. And I think because we're improving the setbacks from the property lines, Mr. and Mrs. Hubbard have been to the neighbors, and they've got some letters written to the Zoning Board of Appeals in support of their proposed reconstruction of the property. They're going to obviously take what's an eyesore in the neighborhood and make it a significant improvement. So there's a lot to like on this particular project. I also want to point out some landscaping features here. Marsh Wind Landscape Design of Rowley, working with David Jacobs, the architect, came up with the plan. But you can see a lot of perennials and shrubs on the property here. There is a proposal to remove 3 trees as part of the project here. You might recall that one of our photographs shows a very dead tree there in the back at the house, so that's...
Can you turn that thing a little more,
Yeah,
please?
sorry,
Yeah. Can you do that?
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's the dead tree. If you look on the site plan,
Why are you calling that a dead tree?
you look at those trees and you look at that tree,
Oh, yeah.
all
Well,
the dead limbs
they still
fall
are.
off of
When was the picture taken?
this summer.
So the
Summertime?
others have green leaves.
Oh,
on it, so,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
When do we meet out there, Michael? September, August?
I know, if you looked at it today, you'd say. "What's the
Yeah,
big
it's
deal?"
it look like dry trees, no leaves.
No, obviously, this is that particular tree. There's another tree on the sideline of the property that is also dropping limbs on both the Hubbard's property and the Marchand's property here, 13 Tivitz. Both property owners would like this tree removed because it has just gotten to be too big. It's probably near the end of its useful life. And it's, while the building is down, we have an opportunity to get the tree out and replace it with some more appropriate landscaping. Same thing over here, we've got a tree that Mr. LeBlanc and Hubbard's would like to remove. And it's really the time to get rid of these trees. And,
Well, currently, just to interject for a minute.
Go ahead, Dave, you done?
On the picture, can I see the backyard again?
of course,
Yeah. So, there's no, it's just lawn back there, right?
that's correct.
And you're proposing to add, besides have the lawn, to put in a walkway?
We're going to put a walkway from the house, the new house, out along the
And all
seawall here.
along there as well?
Along the seawall, and right, because we don't want to splash over and sort of be killing the grass and be spending a lot of time in the grass, so I think.
Well,
So are you gonna build?
but the grass is there now. Is,
Right, and so as, obviously, it's susceptible to wave action and spray, and as sea levels rise, this condition's only gonna get worse, so we're trying to protect the edge of the property.
what is the condition that's worsening?
So right now, the wall is failing, so there's dirt going out into the river, there's been
Yeah.
some settlement there.
But you're gonna address that with a repair to the wall.
Correct.
But not in the scope of this project. And that you say.
We're gonna come back with another filing for the wall and a float and a small pier.
And do they live in the house now?
No, we live in Beverly, and the
Yeah.
house is.
It's not
unoccupied.
habitable? No?
So you're gonna disturb that area along the wall twice then?
Yeah.
Well,
right?
assuming that we're gonna come back pretty soon with our notice of intent application for the pier, and it's gonna take, 6 or 9 months to do this work, I think we'd probably get it all done in the same project.
But you're gonna come back with a separate filing?
That's correct.
But for us, it's two separate projects. To my way of thinking, why don't you hold off on the walkway and the wall until you put them all together in one project and just build a house as a separate project?
We're anxious to move forward with the house.
Yeah.
We didn't have the plans prepared yet for the wall repairs. So that's why we've separated the two projects. And, these pier projects, as you know, can get caught up in, DNF and everyone else's issues. So I think it's simpler to proceed with the house project and follow up with the pier and float application and the wall repair.
But why do we want a walkway back there? I mean, the lawn looks fine.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we could.
Is it pavers at least so it's so it's pervious?
It's pervious pavers, right, but I think we're trying to protect the edge of the lawn from salt spray and, want to have good growth in that area. But we are proposing, as you point out, shrubs and perennials all along the property here, all along the property here. So we're gonna add significantly to the amount of shrubs and perennials at the property.
Are you gonna add any trees to replace the dead ones?
We don't really have any proposals for trees. We do have proposals for some evergreen, sort of large shrubs, arborvitae or cypress up here. The plant palette
I saw that.
is here. Nothing really tall, but, stuff that will flower in different times of the year and provide color throughout the season. And of course, some evergreen, particularly the evergreen shrubs in the Colorado spruces and evergreen shrubs as well.
How susceptible will this be to flooding as time goes on and we anticipate sea levels rising?
The house will comply with the current flood requirements, which the current house doesn't. The new house will comply, the current house doesn't. So, we're going to elevate the first floor, so it's going to go up, the first floor elevation will be 11.5, the flood zone here is 10.
11 and a half above mean high tide?
So is there a foundation, gonna be a foundation
There will be a foundation, there'll be a crawl space, and we'll have flood vents to allow water to come and go,
to pass through?
pass through.
And
without
what about the
leaking.
garage?
Same thing, flood vents here and here. So in the event of a flood, right, we'd be at elevation 10, 100-year flood outlet, which is about 1.5 feet above the street elevation here. There's an elevation 9 in this area here, so the water would be 1 feet deep in this particular area. But the first floor would be elevated up above that, and the crawl space would have water going into it through the flood vents.
And there's no
Complies with flood.
basement, obviously?
No basement and crawl space.
Okay.
So you have, 3 feet plus or minus to stuff a
Hmm.
kayak underneath your house or something like that.
What is it now? It's just sitting on the,
Yeah, I think, there's
It
no
just-
crawl space underneath it.
there is?
Mm.
Yeah,
But there's no
Yeah.
flood vents and
yeah.
anything like that.
Well, all in all, I think it's a good project. I'm just uneasy with that pavers, the building, a patio or whatever you wanna call it, out to the wall, and then having to redo that when you come back to rebuild the wall and the pier.
Mm.
Seems to me that
Well, I
you'd be,
think it would be more likely that we would hold off on doing that portion of it.
Yeah, well, that's what we're thinking.
Take it off the plan for
Take it off.
I also
Okay.
just have a little question about the deck. So it says the deck's pervious, but it also says it's covered, so what's the cover?
So, this area of the deck is covered, so there'll be a roof over it, and then it'll be open, like a.
Like underneath the deck is
Yes.
open? Okay.
Right, so air can move around.
so where will the runoff from the roof?
We would put it, onto the lawn.
Onto the line, yeah. Does staff have any concerns with this?
I just have 2 points. One, noting about ZBA, is there any chance that this plan could change based off ZBA's decision in next week?
I can't predict what the ZBA is gonna do. I think we're, have a good project, but you're right, I don't know.
What's the relief you're
Yeah, what-
looking for at the ZBA? Does it have to do with side lot lines?
Setbacks.
Yeah, because you're an R2, so what's the side lot?
Side lot requirements in the R2.
15
15, and how close are you
We're
gonna,
about 5 here.
you're gonna be 5?
Right
Looking
now,
for
we're
a
at 0.5,
finding,
so.
is it technically a finding?
They're looking for a variance, right?
Right.
But we're going from a half a foot to 5
Oh,
feet.
Right.
oh,
So
so
you're
you're,
providing
you're
more than-
becoming,
Less
You're moving closer to.
less
conformity.
non-conforming, and
So I
that's
can't
always
imagine
good,
how
yeah.
That's what I'm saying, that's a finding, I
We're
think that's
pushing
a
it
Yeah.
back from the
Yeah,
street.
so-
Right now, I think we're at 13 feet from the street, we're gonna go back to 16,
What's the front setback? 20?
20. I think it's a 20 or 22.
So we're gonna be 15 feet off of the street line and 20 feet off of the pavement itself.
How many square feet is the house?
So the footprint,
2,200?
Living space, so it's 2 floors,
2 floors.
1,100 square foot footprint?
Yeah, approximately.
just to get the numbers right, so the proposed front yard setback on Tivitz is 16 feet, which is greater than the existing front yard setback of 13.3. The proposed side yard setback will be approximately 5 feet to the foundation, which is greater than the existing side yard setback of 0.4 feet to the road.
So it's an improvement.
So you're going from a half a foot to 5 feet?
Yeah.
So,
That's not our,
No.
it's not our
just would
decision to
be
make.
interesting.
No,
Do we need to wait for the zoning board
well,
of appeals to?
We
make a
sometimes
decision?
Only
say-
if it's, only if it I mean, if it changes or, then they'll have to reconcile, they'll have to come back and reconcile the plans.
well,
but-
sometimes we say, go get your other relief and come back here, but
I think it's all
We're keeping
situational.
this open to the next meeting.
you don't? So you get your relief, yeah.
That way, the two plans will be the same.
I'm with Peter, I like the project except for the walkway and the pavers, and frankly, I don't see why you need that, but it's, if you take it off the table now, it's
Yeah, and then
something to
it-
address later.
It looks good, I mean, you're not really infringing on our buffer lines,
Right.
right up to them, but I mean, it's a pretty
Mm.
tight lot.
It's also,
And overall, I think it's a big improvement, so.
yeah. And like, the land's already developed, it's been lawn this
Yeah.
whole time, so.
Yeah. We had, we saw a project a few years ago where the water, out that way where the water passes under the crawl space, and the garage, yeah. It works, yeah?
I just have another quick comment, just construction phasing, the practicality of construction. Going down Tivitz, it's very tight down there, and I'm imagining 3 excavators and a massive dump truck. So how is that gonna be accommodated in the neighborhood, just in general? So I know it is Concom-wise on the actual lot where things are gonna be stockpiled, how you're moving around such a small lot and such
Yeah,
a,
I think we're gonna have to,
Fragile
we're gonna have to
space.
work with the police department.
Take stuff away?
okay,
Where we can put the dumpster, because having it on site's gonna be really tough.
yep,
Are you gonna stockpile on site, or are you gonna?
One excavator to tear it down.
okay. So like that demo material, will that be out that day,
It's
or?
going right out.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll load it right out.
That should be a condition.
In practicality, there's no reason not to, because it's coming
Yeah.
down in about an hour.
and you want it out of there anyway, you need the room to
So
move
we
around.
won't- I'll have double dumpsters or 100 yard of there to take it right out.
When would you do the demolition on this house?
Well, it depends on all the permitting,
Yeah.
and the weather, at this point, we're not gonna get done everything into, December, you have appeal periods, January, what's the weather gonna be, maybe I'll wait till March.
But you're gonna have an answer from ZBA at your next week. Yeah, so, soon we continue.
Okay, so, yeah, I think we need to.
Yeah.
We know we don't meet again for another month, right?
December 12th?
December 12th.
Okay, can we have a motion to continue?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we continue the public hearing for 11 Tivitz Avenue, DEP file number 14-1335, to our next scheduled meeting of December 12th, 2019.
Then I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll see
thank
then.
you. Good presentation.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, appreciate the blown up map.
You need more of those pages.
Yeah, that's nice,
like a
yeah.
nice photo.
Before you read the next one, can I make a request to take an application out of order, as I have the rest of the agenda?
It's you for the rest of the stuff?
I'd like to
Ask the chair, ask the chairman.
Okay,
if that's okay.
Sure.
I'm comfortable with that.
Did you get that,
Here's the
Alicia?
rest of the agenda. Earning your money tonight, Scott.
Okay, what do we got here? Let's see,
All right, so the next is 197 Newbury Street, DEP file number 14-1299. Who's here to represent the applicant, which is the Happy Canine?
Oh, good, yeah, get those guys up there.
Yep, sure. Scott Cameron with Mooring Cameron Group. Here on behalf of, Mendoza's Happy Canine, Joe DeRosa, the owner of the property.
Yeah.
It's the third meeting on this minor modification. We've had a site walk, I did earlier today, with staff. And I guess I can go through a couple of the items that, we were asked to clarify tonight. This is relatively brief. We did amend the site plan. You asked to add a silt sock on the site plan here. During the time period from the last meeting to now, they actually seeded the slope in all these areas, and the grass is fully stabilized.
Really?
It's grown in. It's just about ready to mow, but it's starting to.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got one?
And you are?
He's the property owner.
He's the owner.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
There's some over here, you can see from there.
We did amend the SWIP, storm prevention plan to include the trench. That amended document is included. This was part of the original permits. We got that from the owner and added that in. And then we provided a summary of the soil tests that we performed on the property, which.
What you did when we were there?
We were on the sidewalk,
Yeah.
so we dug down to up to 4 feet. The soil type, it was all fill. So we had a gravelly, loamy sand to a sandy loam. So I classified it as a class 2 soil. So sand would be a class 1, clay would be a class 4. We classified it as a class 2. We ran a perk test
Yeah.
when we were there.
And then it's stone
Okay.
wall.
Oh, wow.
What about grass on the other side of the lot, on the Route 1 side?
He's got it right here.
That is Route 1 side, right?
Okay, this what I'm looking at here is the 95
That's
side.
the 90, there's
Oh.
Route 1.
Left, I
Okay.
scrolled, so.
Can I see that for a second, George?
I'm gonna increase your brightness.
She knows how to do that.
Okay, is you.
Okay, that's,
I see that one?
is there a fence there now?
No.
Not yet.
They built the fence within the non-jurisdictional area of the dog park.
So on the Route 1 side of the lot?
And when that
Big
grass,
difference.
when you put that grass in, is that the grass to stabilize, but is it the same grass that will come back next year, or is
They
it?
spread an erosion control mix, which consists of winter rye and then some more longer term. Winter rye will germinate in 48 hours. It takes really quick. That gets the stabilization in. Then there's typically annual rye or other grasses in there that will come in next season. Annual rye, winter rye, only lasts
One time. Yeah,
Right? So
that's-
that's get your initial stabilization. The rest of the grass will come in the spring.
Hmm.
So it came in really fast. It caught it right at the right time. I
Yeah.
think they hit it rain.
Peak time,
Sprout,
right.
germinated. So the site is stabilized. George did know, and I saw it in some photos, there is an area where the mulch is washed out, so we gotta just investigate before we would come in for a COC,
Mike, if you
figure out why
want.
that's happening. There's a photo of it. I think that's been there for a while, and it may actually have been from before they paved, because the mulch had been in the finished coat of pavement. And I know the water, when it was just binder, was draining off this way,
Right, okay.
although the finished
Oh,
condition
yeah.
is going to where it should be, towards this catch basin here.
So what does this suggest to you where it's washing out? What does that suggest to you as
I
a?
just learned about it today, so I gotta go out and take a look at it. It suggests that either it washed out before they did the finished coat of pavement, when it was an unfinished condition of the site, and it was coming off this way and washed out. That's what it looks
I
like.
mean, since the last time we were there?
I wasn't looking for it when we were there. I was with Vanessa. We were looking down here when we saw
That's
some
from a
erosion.
week
So,
ago. That's
Which
November 7th.
direction is the water flowing? This way?
Down towards 95. 95.
So it's coming from the parking lot?
We may,
Yeah.
or it could be coming off
don't-
the building.
Yeah,
We're
I don't
not.
think it's coming from the parking lot now. It may
There's
have
like a
been coming-
curb there now,
There's
isn't
Because it
a
would
there?
have
curb there
to
now,
come
and they raised it up, so everything in the parking lot is graded to drain to that catch basin away from this area.
Right, I remember
Yeah.
talking about
I
that.
noticed with Vanessa when we were there was a lot of erosion down in this area,
Yeah.
up against the silt sock.
Mhm.
And that was because when they did the binder, this corner was low. So the water was actually coming this way when it was just binder. So
Okay.
it could be from before that, it could be from the roof here. There's really very little that's coming this way. We'll take a look at it. I think this is an as-built situation. We're just gonna make sure we have a stabilized site before we file a request for COC. We'll make sure that's addressed.
And once that's all squared away, what's going right at that spot? What's gonna be there?
This is just mulch, it's landscaping in that area.
Yeah.
Well, I will, to correct you, it's not mulch right now, it's gravel under the mulch,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I don't,
But ultimately, it'll be, what will,
It's a landscape buffer, yeah, it is.
all
So
right.
the gravel's not thick, you're into the fill beneath that.
okay.
So the plants are planted in the fill material that we saw on the sidewalk.
It would be nice not to have gravel there in the garden, that's all,
Yeah.
just opinion. I apologize.
So we'll take a look at that, make sure that's stabilized, because the site has to be stable typically before we come into the request, so.
Yeah.
And then I just want to get back to the soils, make sure the commission understood what we found out there. When I talk about these technical terms, 20-minute perk rate, class 2 soil, gravelly loamy sand, when we were out there, we were rubbing the soil between our fingers, you could hear it sound like
Crunch.
Rice Krispies popping. That's the grit, it's a field test to tell if there's sand, it's a sandier soil or a silty or clayey soil. So we know there's sand in it, and then because it was leaving staining on our fingers, we know there's organics, so there's loaminess, that's why we call it a loamy sand. It varied in the different corners between the sand, so more sand than loam or more loam than sand. But where we tested, where we ran the perk here, we dug a hole in the ground following the state Title V criteria, poured water into it, so water column at 12 inches. We sat there watching, and it was dropping. I think it dropped 1.5 inches while we were there for about 20 minutes or so. So we measured that water column dropping down, and the drop between 9 and 6 inches is what we measure for your perk rate. And this is it's kind of arbitrary, unique to Title V, and it's a rate we use for designing septic systems. It's how the Title V code is written. It really doesn't correlate to actual soil hydraulics. We use hydraulic conductivity when we're doing stormwater design, but you can get a good idea from a perk rate as to what the hydraulic conductivity is. So in this case, at a 20-minute perk rate, when I say a class 2 soil, that's more of a Title V. If we were to convert that into a stormwater design with the terms you may have heard in stormwater design, this would be more like a class B soil, so hydrologic soil group B. An A would be a sand, a D would be a clay, so we're right in that B range. And at a 20-minute perk, we're talking about a conductivity around 2 feet per second, so it's the inverse, but that would be the stormwater units that we use for stormwater design. What I'm saying is, 20-minute perk rate is an optimal soil condition. My favorite area to design is a 12 to 20-minute perk or 12 to 22-minute perk. It's not rapidly draining, which means the water exits quickly, which means it's not getting any treatment in the soil. It's not ponding and sitting in the soil where it's not draining at all. It's going through at a nice steady rate. It's treating the water as it goes through because there's bacteria and materials in the soil that are going to, like a big filter. So that, in my opinion, this is an optimal, even though it's fill, and you're going to see some varying densities and consistency changes. We did 4 holes. This hole was mostly gravel. This hole was more sandy. These 2 were more on the sandy loam side. So, but
Is that all documented somewhere?
Yeah, I documented it in this report, and we also saw it in the field site visit when we walked up there.
We just saw the one when we were there. For
The one
Oh, I
hole.
said,
Got the
yeah,
other one.
I'm sorry, yeah, we walked the 4 corners, there were 4 holes.
Was that
so-
Chelsea?
I looked at all of them.
Okay.
I didn't dig the 4 feet down, I dug.
You
into
did
the fill.
4 tests, not
Yeah.
just the one we saw, you did 3 more?
Yeah, we
Oh, well,
hit
that's good.
each corner.
And they
and
all
then-
were the same result,
And
pretty
then
much?
The engineer who did the rest of the site design also did test holes through the property, and I pulled out his soil logs, and he documented the same thing. And in
Yeah.
fact, the soil evaluator that was working for the engineer at the time, as an independent contractor, works for me. So he's a geologist, he's
Yeah.
the best in the industry, so I talked to him, and yeah, it's a similar finding. So this was more than likely the result of highway construction quite a while ago, with fill material brought in. We didn't get deep enough, and they didn't in any of their test holes to get through the fill, and they went down 8 to 10 feet.
And then when that material's put down that we talked about for the dogs, that, would the rate continue to be the same?
As far as, yeah, so the top material is free draining. So
Free
you have a
drain.
pea stone, and you have a dense graded stone that is structural, but it's the same that we would use on a roadway. It's intended to have, water can filter through it, so you don't get water perched between the subbase of the roadway and the asphalt, which causes the asphalt to degrade. Again, very, very low volumes here. This is a high concentration because it's just the dog a very small volume. And I think we talked about what this would be if we had a septic field this size. Equivalent size would be big enough to handle 60
Yeah.
bedrooms. Pretty massive. Right? So it's a very robust design.
Okay, so the last two meetings, there were two reports that we requested, and my understanding is we have both of those.
Yeah, we have the SWIP, and if the commission feels that that soil information that Scott just provided was sufficient information,
Right.
then I would consider that.
All right, so how do we proceed to, do we have to modify or amend the original?
So they're requesting an amendment, so making, if the board agrees to issue that amendment, or you would make a motion.
So it was either gonna be an amendment or a modification?
I would say procedure-wise, an amendment.
Yeah.
Is that what,
I think it's one of the same, it's a modified order. And the question is whether.
yeah. So the
you
new,
need-
we would issue an order and amend, check off the amended box.
Okay,
Before that.
so, Mike, we're thinking this is the language that we'd want to use.
A motion to amend the order of conditions?
Yeah.
Well, we already had issued an order of conditions originally on this, and then they went and things changed and which required this whole change project. I forget what was gonna be there, was it just gonna be?
Just loam and seed.
Just loam and seed, that's right.
So this is technically an amendment after the fact, if the commission wants to clarify it as that. But this would formally amend that plan, so now on file, we have this as the
Yeah.
approved final plan.
Okay, and we're gonna get a new plan filed when this is,
That one.
all right.
And then the next step is.
Is that,
once
is
they're-
that labeled amended plan or not
Yeah,
necessarily?
there's revision dates on here, and the plan has a new date.
Yeah.
So because I'm not the original engineer on this,
Yeah.
I only
Just the-
did this. I put it on my title block, so the plan date was May 21, we amended it to 11/7.
All right, I'll make a motion. Where are we? We're on, we're down here, yeah. I'll make a motion to amend the order of conditions for DEP file number 14-1299 to incorporate the new changes, which is a dog play area, is shown on the submitted plan, which is dated, what's the most recent date?
November 7th.
With the most recent date of November 7th, 2019. There's some other language here, I don't think.
Oh, those are just
Those are
notes.
just
Your
notes.
notes, okay. So that,
Okay, the motion has been made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Good luck with
Go
your
for it.
dog park. Yeah. And good luck with your son's business over there.
Thanks. Come by and see it.
Yeah, I will. I might come by on my motorcycle.
You gotta take me on that.
I'll take you, Josh.
Thank you,
I'm gonna
Joe.
wanna see the
Have a
dog
good
park.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
So long.
Coffee.
So we're gonna go through each one of these and the one to continue?
Yeah, so Scott did send an email to continue 6 and 7, but it would be good if we could have him verbally request
Cool.
to go to December 12th.
Yeah, and maybe a little explanation as to what's going on, too.
So we could open.
Okay, so this has been okay.
Okay, so we'll start with item E, public hearing, notice of intent for 305R Maple Street, Lot 6, DEP file number 14-1332. Who's here for the applicant?
Evening, Mr. Chair, Scott Cameron with Moore Camera Group, here on behalf of Beaver Brookswoods LLC. Yeah, we are requesting a continuance, the two lots that we're requesting continuance for 6 and 7. We are working with planning staff and the planning board and on the existing right-of-way that passes through this area, and we have not been able to reach a conclusion of that yet. Just timing, quorum, just a lot going on. So we would really like to have that resolved before we proceed forward with these two applications here.
Mike, question?
Yes. So with regards to, what have we approved actually so far here?
The roadway.
Yeah, but now the roadway's gonna could
No.
change.
No, the roadway's not going to change. What's going to change is whether
You'd have to
there's
start
an
all
easement
over.
here, or whether the town wants to relocate it here.
But it's not gonna affect the roadway?
Roadway does not change.
All right, that was my question.
Okay, so the applicant has requested that we continue, is that correct?
Yes, that's.
Do you have a date for that, Scott? Do you want to continue to the 12th or
The next
just
meet- Yeah, the next meeting.
next?
Which
Okay.
is December 12th.
So that's just clarified. Right.
Okay, Mike, or Chelsea, you just want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to continue, 305R Maple Street, Lot 6, DEP file number 14-1332, and 303 to 309, 305R, 313R Maple Street, Lot 7, DEP file number 14-1333, to our next meeting on December 12th.
Motion's been made, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next up is a notice of intent for 303-309, 313R Maple Street, lot number 8, DEP file number 14-1331.
Did you do 7?
We shoot them to both into the
You
same.
combine? Okay.
All right, again, Scott Cameron with Moore Camera Group, thanks for having me. Here on behalf of Beaverbrook Woods LLC, John Colantoni is here, he's the manager of the LLC. So this is a notice of intent application for the lot. We previously looked at the roadway, and to orient you on the property and what we're looking at right now, this is lot 8 right here. So the property line starts here, comes up, over and back down. So that's lot 8. I brought the plan with me, smaller. So again, on the plan, this is the roadway. It's already been reviewed and approved. This is the proposed lot 8, which I highlighted in purple. So the resource areas and the buffer zones on this lot, which is why we're here. We have the border with vegetated wetland, which I highlighted in green. That wetland has the 25-foot no disturb. Which you can see, it's all white in this area because we're not proposing any work. Your 35-foot no build, which is the blue. You can see the dwelling, which is the tan, is outside of that. And then you have riverfront area, which is the orange, which extends off of Beaverbrook on the back corner of the lot. You see, we're not proposing any work in the riverfront area on the property. So we are proposing that limit of work line, follow the riverfront, come down, follow the no disturb, and back up to the road. It's a single-family home application for a future single-family home. The project, as part of the overall subdivision design, considered the stormwater impacts from this particular lot. So the house, the driveway, and then 25% of the rest of the lot were included in the stormwater calculations for the whole project. As part of that, what we proposed was a single drywall to handle the roof runoff from the property. And again, as we're doing our stormwater design, one of our goals is always to try and spread out where we're putting recharging stormwater back into the ground. So we try to put these on the house lots and pick up the roof runoff and put those in. So you have a drywall here. It's the same application of stormwater design principles that we have in prior subdivisions. We just reviewed Holly Hill, the 2 lots in the COC. We had drywalls on those. We did them on another subdivision in town.
What's the same system, you mean?
Similar system, similar methodology. It's a practice that we like to do. We think it's good engineering practice, not to just put all the stormwater in one spot. Nature doesn't have it all going to one spot usually.
What's the direction of the flow?
So this drywall is just picking up this roof, so the roof will go in. Currently, the lot has a high point on this side at elevation 68. It slopes down to elevation 56, and then around 52 by the wetland. So it slopes this way.
To the wetland.
Towards the wetland. On this edge, we proposed a short retaining wall. So to reduce the height, as we're coming off the road at elevation 66, this would slope down to 58. Then the existing grade here is 56. The idea is that we're driving into a garage. You have a walkout on the basement on this side of the property, and then this would be a ground level first floor walkout. So the elevation would drop. There's another wall here to account for that drop. So you have a patio in this area off the living level, and then a walkout on this level from the basement. That was to minimize fill, conform more to the shape of the land, because we're high on this side, low on that side. That's how we fit the house in.
How long is the original retaining wall? Just show me that again. On what's that, the north?
For the roadway?
Nope.
No, the one in the back.
property.
You said the short one.
Right. It's right on the 35-foot line?
It's outside of the no disturb.
So the 25
So it's
foot.
outside the 25, it's it's just inside the 35, so we didn't go into that no disturb.
How else?
We're using that as the limit of work on the 25.
What'd you say, Georgia?
I'm just wondering how far it is from the 25. Is it 25.2?
I don't have an exact measurement, I
It'd just be
listed
good to know.
25 feet on it.
Okay.
So the idea would be to stake the erosion control along that line.
Has this plan been modified since we discussed the road and the wetlands replenishment?
The replication, no, we haven't adjusted this, because that had to do with the road, and so we'll have that replication plan along with the road.
That
As
would
I'm looking,
change the border lines on the buffer zones, wouldn't it? The replication
If we
being
did it
added.
over here, and I don't know, we haven't done that yet, because we're not there yet, the
but
project.
where's the replicated,
The replication area is over here. So it's this area right here.
okay, and what's the distance from that to the retaining wall?
It's about 20 feet there on that design.
So then your retaining wall is within the
You're
25
within the
foot?
replicated wetland?
That's the replicated piece, that's not the existing 25-foot.
But that's going to happen, isn't it? Isn't the replicated?
Well, if this is where it ends up, we haven't done that design yet, because that was one of the conditions from the roadway.
Oh.
So, I'm hearing you, so what you're suggesting is holding the 25-foot from wherever we propose to extend the
Right,
wetland
yeah.
replicated?
Yeah.
Okay,
At least, yeah.
okay,
So the,
Or whatever's more binding.
can you, with regards to that wall seems linear, where is the 25 that linear that you're able to
Yeah.
parallel like that?
Yep.
Let me see.
So you have a flag here and a flag here.
Hmm.
So the pink dashed line would be the 25 setback,
Uh-huh.
going like that.
So you're right
Yeah,
on it
so the
there.
closest point is about 50, our scale, that's a 40 scale there.
So where's our 35?
The 35 is the blue.
We're totally in the 35.
The third, yeah, that's a no structure, that's for buildings. Can't put buildings close to the
Yeah.
35.
You can put, well, we say you can put fences, can you put retaining walls, do they count as fences?
It's been done before,
Yeah.
but I would say it's
What?
That,
This doesn't require, it's not a building permit wall,
Yeah,
right, so it
it's
wouldn't,
under 3 feet or.
yeah.
well, it's under 10 feet.
is
What's
that
the height of it?
So we're going from 56 to 6, so we're at 56 here, or we're at 65 here, so it's 9 feet on this end, and then it's only 2 feet on that end, so it slopes down. So we're taking this down to nothing on this end.
And it sort of tracks a slope or something, or what?
Yes, yep, so we slope it down because we wanna lower the grade from here to have a basement walkout here, so we can conform better to the
Yeah,
topography. the
So when
neighborhood.
you're walking on the area you colored, which I suppose is what, lawn? Is that
Yes.
all going to be flat
No, it gradually slopes down,
from,
so.
like the wall
It's about-
does?
It's about a 10%, yeah, it's about a 10% slope coming down the side here.
And then there's another retaining wall,
Stepping back up about midpoint,
and what's the height on that one?
so this is 62 going up to 68,
Yeah,
it's a 6-foot wall.
6-foot wall?
so when will you have the replication wetlands fully designed?
Well, being one of the conditions that you put into.
I had asked for something extra on that replication.
2.5 to 1, we
Yeah.
proposed 2 to 1, and we're gonna bump that up to 2.5 to 1.
Yeah,
So, the sequence of things right now, on the order conditions, when we get to the point where we're ready to break ground, we need to satisfy that condition. So, we would be going through, hopefully, receiving approvals on the lots, orders and conditions for the lots. We're gonna work out the right-of-way, planning matter, get that resolved. We're gonna go through closing, line of construction. During that period, probably after closing, we'll get all the construction documents
you mean
ready.
closing on the lot? What are you
Yeah,
talking
Yeah,
about?
so they're
Closing
gonna
on
be
the
purchasing
subdivision?
the land, so, and then they can start construction once they close and they own the land. So during that process, as we're getting our pre-construction documents ready, that would be the stormwater pollution prevention plan under EPA, that'd be getting our erosion control staked out, doing pre-construction. We typically do a pre-construction meeting with staff, especially on the subdivisions, and we kind of go over the schedule. Those usually happen here, we get DPW, engineering, make sure everybody's on the same page with schedule you know, what do we have to worry about for utility connections and things, and then usually we'll have a site walk, with whoever wants to come out for staff. So while that's all happening, that's kind of pre-construction, we'll be doing the replication plan. Whether we're back before you guys, I guess that's at the discretion of staff on how that is. I imagine we'll bring it into you.
Is this project gonna have a propane tank too?
We
We've
do
been
have
seeing a
natural.
lot of those in
We're
ground, yeah.
getting a lot of those lately.
Yeah, there is gas on the street. You know, the issue, they are about a year to 14 months out on getting their lines in.
Is the town gonna bring gas into
It's
the?
not town, it's
Yeah,
National
no,
Grid.
it's the company,
It's
that's
the
true.
gas company,
Yeah.
so, we can lay it all in, we can put the services in, we can do all that, and we may never get a hookup. It might be beyond, we might be closing the house before we ever get a hookup, so that's why you're seeing propane, you're seeing oil, where we could have done, you know, I was talking to one of the field guys, last week on a subdivision in an adjacent town, where we've been waiting 11 months to try and get a radar. He said they used to be able to do 400 or 500 feet of line a day, and they just crank through it. And now they're lucky to get 100.
For the gas lines?
Yeah, because they're just being much more cautious and safe and making sure it's done through processes. So everything's backed up. Everything's backed up. So I think that's why you're seeing propane.
So that would be would that be the source of the heat, the propane?
Yeah, yep. Very efficient. It's actually not a bad, it's a similar,
And it'd be burying another one of those big tanks?
yeah, they're usually 500.
Yeah.
And safety concerns were brought up about those, like the way they are, like if the propane tank, God forbid, would ever ignite, explode, like,
They're,
that's not a concern,
no,
right?
they're, so the
It
fire
is with
department,
me.
the fire department oversees.
No
those
different than
requirements, right?
natural gas.
They have setback requirements, buildings, property lines, they have, placement requirements, so when you put the tank in the ground, in this case, usually every case, it's set in a sand bed, because they don't want you dropping that down on top of rocks or ledge or boulder where it's gonna puncture it. You put it on a sand bed, you can only bury it a max, I think it's 3 feet, I have one in my house.
Who installs that? Is the Eastern Propane do that or
Most of them are
somebody?
leased, yeah,
Some
Townsend Gas,
Townsend.
I have one from Townsend.
Somebody
I
like
see a
that,
lot of
yeah?
towns and trucks around, yeah.
And they go in pretty easy, a backhoe can pick them up and drop them in, and then they plummet. But the fire department issues the permit on it, at least when I put mine in Middleton,
Yeah.
I assume it's the same in Danvers. They're triple wall tanks, or, you know,
So that's sort of how areas can get developed where you can't bring in
Gas line.
a gas line.
oil's the other option.
Yeah, but, yeah, and then people aren't
There are
going with
streets
that?
that don't have gas service. There are
Yeah.
existing streets now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, oil, yeah, the oil burners are very efficient, but now you got a chimney, now you got other things to worry about.
Yeah.
Propane, you just have two PVC pipes coming
Yeah.
inside the house to discharge its water.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Okay, I mean, personally, I'm at a loss as to how we can proceed without knowing where the new what the new wetlands replication area is, and
Right.
how that impacts your
Since everything's so
25 and 35
up
foot
against
lines.
the 25-foot as it is, like, and that's gonna change at some point, like, I'm not sure what we could do right
Maybe,
now.
And-
well,
I mean, I would just suggest, I mean, as things change, if Part A changes or once, and again, we were gonna suggest that the building, at the time a building permit is issued, that there be a reconciliation, because at that point, you know, this box is a lovely box, but it's just the conceptual. The homeowner's gonna wanna bump out in the bay window and the porch off the back, and
walls and all, yeah.
so
Yeah.
our thought was condition these lots that we do the reconciliation at the time the building permit is issued. That way, we're not going from this to what really got built 5 years later. Again, I think you could argue if the replication plans affect the change on this lot, that's another reason that this lot would have to be reconciled. Again, they may
Yeah,
wanna
but-
package that at a
But
later
Aaron, what's
date.
this, would they go for a building permit? We had this conversation before, is that gonna trigger any action by us? For
Well, that's what I'm
whether-
saying. I mean,
The
if-
building inspector's gonna say, oh, yeah, there's supposed to be a reconciliation by Concom?
Well, it'd be,
It would be a condition.
a condition
Well-
of this order that when a building permit is issued, that they revisit us for that reconciliation. I think you could, again, if the replication planning affects something on this lot, then they know they're out of sync right then and there. that's a reason for reconciliation, and then obviously, but they're not building anything, so they're probably coming back at us if anything changes through the DEP process, or, through that final design process. So you can condition it there, and then obviously when the building plans are actually developed and a building permit sought.
Well,
So you
can't we
can-
just condition that the replication area will be no closer than 25 feet from any
Suppose you could,
construction?
Suppose if you do that, I
Or
mean-
condition that there will be no work, there will be no work within the 25-foot no disturb to existing or future wetlands,
right,
replicated wetlands.
Right.
We should use what
replicated,
is.
yeah,
We have no control over what nature does.
right,
Yes.
yeah, yep.
Okay, one other question that Vanessa raised. There's a one-to-one slope that she's mentioning. You point that out?
Here? Mm-hmm.
So that's runoff right into the new wetlands, correct? That's pretty steep
There's a
slope.
high point in the driveway is sloped towards the road, and then the road has a curve. So the only thing that would be draining this way is yard.
Okay.
If I
We
may,
can-
I'm sorry. On that, I would say, was there any thought of tying that wall? I know there's an issue of where's the right of way and where does the wall, but in theory, in my mind, the easiest build would be to have the right of way wall just blend into that wall. You know,
Yeah.
cause I think in the field, and you know this, Scott, no one's hit a one-to-one slope.
Perfectly, right? Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
We have more flexibility on this one. This could actually go to a 2-to-1 and it'd still be fine. So this one wasn't pinched like some of the Holly Hill, very,
Right.
very tight over
Right.
there. It struggled.
That's all I'm thinking we're
There
fearful
were a
of.
couple reasons I didn't connect it. One, I don't want a private wall coming into a public wall, and then we're getting into, well, that's not mine, that's not mine, that's not mine, we can't figure out who's who if there's something needs to be maintained, so that's one. And then two, I wanted to have a break, just because you can't walk down 1-to-1, or if it's 2-1, you can get down in that area. And I want it to be able to come down in here for whatever, access, maintenance. If the town does hold an easement along the front of this to maintain the wall, if the town wants to drive the backhoe down here and feather that in, they can
Yep.
get down there, so. That's why I did that, it's a very deliberate break, and did that.
Say it again.
I think Vanessa also mentioned something about a fence.
So nothing falls into the wetland.
Or had you thought
I
about
would-
putting a fence on that? That is a steep slope, so
Yeah,
safety
there'll probably be a
standpoint.
fence for the portion that's over 42 inches. I would anticipate a fence going at the top of that,
On top of the wall?
on top of the wall.
Okay.
And they usually just put them right on the wall.
Yeah.
And that's more of a safety,
What's the
Yeah.
more
purpose
of a
of the?
safety
From-
consideration.
Whipple Hill, I know the town's gonna want black vinyl
With a
with a gate.
On the roadway,
Road.
Right, I'm
Yeah,
saying in
yes.
that gap,
Yes,
if we go
that's
there,
fine.
in that gap, we're gonna need,
But that's private.
but if you're saying we need,
across
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, so you'll have to be a
Right.
chain link.
we
Yeah.
need to
Our
get in there.
typical, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Well, is this an area where we put those the little signs
You
with
mean
the?
the little disc and the
Yeah.
30, that's up to you guys to
Yeah.
establish if you want them to implement that.
I believe that's one of your typical conditions.
No,
Is it? Oh, because
Yeah,
I've
we're
always,
moving
been
in that
doing it.
direction.
we've been
Okay.
doing it.
Yeah.
and that's great.
Where would it go, though? Where would they go?
We could put them right on the wall, but
Yeah,
we could,
Well,
construction
is it-
adhesive right to the top of the wall.
yeah. Why are we putting a fence on the wall?
it's
I
gonna
would
need
say
it for,
safety.
Slope.
because the height.
You got a little
Yes.
kid jumps
Yeah.
on the retaining wall and then wants to
I
take a
think the
hop
building,
off.
but I think
Well-
the
It
building,
would be
the
required.
building code, I think at
42.
42 inches, you require fall
Requires a
protection.
fence.
No.
You would have the marking in the fence on the wall?
No, just blue, there's a plaque, it's about.
So they could go on the fence, they could be attached to the fence?
I construction adhesive it right to the wall.
Uh,
'cause it's
you'd
gonna be
heat-
broken off the fence.
It'll adhere to the
Oh,
wall?
yeah.
I see.
I use
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
And we
they're
have
like a
those. We give
disc,
them to you
like,
then.
Yeah, they're just a little plastic
Yeah, I
or
know what you mean.
aluminum.
Little metal, yeah.
aluminum.
That little plate thing.
Mm.
Yeah, so it, yeah.
I was thinking the granite pillars that you're gonna put those on. We have.
No.
Granite pillars.
Yeah,
I do
just
like
put it right on the
those.
wall.
Actually, the requirement is a 1x1 cedar post that's, I don't.
Well, it used to be black locust, and
Yeah.
then no
Black
one could
locust,
find
right,
those.
Yes, yeah, we can do black
Yeah.
locust, so it's a 1x1 cedar post, so. These would be, along that edge, if you put 3 of them here,
Yeah.
about every.
You're looking for a vote today?
If we can close this one out, that would be fantastic.
know.
It's-
I think Aaron had kind of mentioned if we were able to reconcile that, if that's something the commission wants to.
Again, if you're comfortable, I think, because again, we have, they're gonna need to come back and reconcile if the design of the replication area changes based on their other design, so you know they're coming back for that, and you know they're certainly gonna have to come back for when they actually have the house designed. So again, I mean, I think you will see this again at least once, if not twice.
Well, what would the replication area, how would it change? You mean the shape of it, the size of
I'm
it?
not even- I don't wanna do this from an office, I wanna do this out in the field.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the best way to do it. I wanna get out there,
So-
stake it out, see, measure it, look at the trees, look at the grades.
when would you do that?
It's probably next spring.
Oh, you wouldn't do it
Encouraging-
between now and our next meeting? No?
Too cool.
But when you,
So,
if we were to issue an order of conditions, the clock starts ticking.
Yep.
Right, I mean, does it make any sense to ask for an order of conditions tonight?
Yeah, that doesn't concern us. We'll be done well ahead of the 3 years. Whipple Hill, we had 18 of the 20 homes are built. I think we just asked for our first extension on one of the lots. One of the lots wasn't built. Holly Hill got built out in 18 months, 2 years maybe. So I expect this will be a relatively quick build. So it's a good site.
I just have my reservations. I'm not ready to
Oh,
vote.
wait.
Plus, I'd like to have Vanessa here too, because she asks more of the
Yeah.
technical questions than I'm capable of. So if you don't mind, I'd prefer that we make a motion to continue at least until our next meeting.
All right.
And then,
Certainly.
I'll
John
make that
Coughlin,
motion.
the applicant. What would be different at the next meeting?
Well, we'll have another member here who wanted to be here but couldn't be here today and has input.
But, and I respect that. So is that the big difference? Because I don't know if we can bring anything more to the table at the next meeting when it comes to lot 8. I just wanna be honest with the board. If it's solely because you want the other member here, totally
Yeah,
respect that.
that's,
Well, good.
that's good. I
That's what we're
appreciate that.
doing.
But yes, that's, to answer your question, yes.
But I just wanna be honest with the board. It's not like we'll be coming with anything more for lot 8 at the next meeting.
Well, maybe, but we'll have some
But we might
language,
have
we'll
more
probably have
questions
some
for you.
language developed for the motion
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it sounds
More
like we have at
specific
least 2 or 3
language.
conditions we want to
Yeah.
do.
I'm assuming it's not written
What's that?
in order, a draft order.
It's in a
No,
draft
we'll have one.
form, but
Based on what we've talked about and what Vanessa,
no.
anything else that we might write in that day, so. I can make a motion if you like.
To
Yes.
continue.
No, I'll make a motion, to continue the public hearing, for, 303-309, 313R Maple Street, Lot 8, DEP file number 14-1331, to our next scheduled meeting of December 12th, 2019.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Thank you,
And
Scott.
just one quick question, do we anticipate planning board decisions on the other lots?
I hope so.
Well,
What's the schedule for the planning board, Aaron?
12, 12,
12/10, so the same spacing? Okay,
our next meeting is 12/12,
right, so that's, their planning board was 2 days ago,
Oh.
too.
and your,
Fun
and
week.
your planning board 12/10?
12 to 10.
Yeah.
I saw you read, did Vanessa submit written comments on the applications? I saw you reading. a little
She
bit here.
emailed comments to staff, which we provided to the members.
Could I have a copy of those so I can review them?
Are we allowed to do that?
I think so.
Part of the public
If any,
record, right?
it's exactly what was
I
all.
don't know when it, I don't, what was out of the report?
What's that?
I don't know when they came in, but I know we had
No,
them.
but I'll review them before the next meeting and
Yeah.
maybe I
Yeah,
can
well,
have
that's
some
probably a good
questions
idea.
for her.
Yeah, I think she'd be happy to have a chance to ask questions in person. Okay. Next is minutes from October 10th, 2019.
Yep,
you.
we'll see you at the next meeting.
Has anyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from October 10th?
I did.
Oh, good.
Would you like to make a motion that we accept the meeting?
Sure, yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for the meetings on October 10th, 2019, and for October 24th, 2019.
Okay. I reviewed them as well, and
Right.
they're good because
Top-notch.
they help the
Well
memory.
done.
All right, I'll second the motion.
Put that in your
Okay, all in
file.
favor?
Aye.
Okay,
You are appreciated, see, stop
Yeah,
giving me.
yeah.
Georgia, is there any other business that we need to consider?
No.
Okay, I just have
Good to
one.
have you back, Georgia.
Hold on, Mike,
They're
hold on.
tired of us.
Oh, we just missed her.
I just want to let the board know I've been invited as the chairman to attend some department head meeting that some engineering firm is presenting to the town department heads.
Oh.
Is that correct?
The municipal vulnerability.
Right.
Oh.
And it's all
MVP
around
meeting. Yep.
climate change and what the impact it's going to be. So I think for us, there could be a big deal
Very
with the wetlands are all going to change shape.
Yep.
So
We'll be
So
interested to
I
hear
will
some
be- that's-
input on that.
that's December the 5th, so I'll report back on that on the 12th.
Great.
I mean, I would assume we're gonna,
All right,
something to talk about.
Mike is anxious to go, so I'll let you make the motion.
All right, I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
And I second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
We have stuff to sign?
Yes.
Who won the
All right.
round?
Hold on.